Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life. Welcome back to another episode of Next to Madison. I'm your host, Madison Malloy, and on today's episode, I am sitting down with an incredible gentleman who has gone through, honestly, trauma. So much trauma, from losing his leg to battling addiction to losing his family to almost losing his children, and has overcome his incredible challenges to start inspiring and helping so many of those that are struggling today. His story is unbelievable. I'm going to stop yapping because I just want to get to this episode, but you will be left inspired and just wanting to take on your own challenges that you may have in your life and learn how to be more open and be more vulnerable to embrace all that life has in store for you. So we will be right back after this brief message with our guest on Next to Madison. Hi, it's your host, Madison Malloy. For those of you who don't know, I've written and created a powerful collection of books to help you build confidence, shift your mindset, and attract the life you truly want. From Time to Lighten the F Up, to Affirm and Flourish, Color Your Way to Abundance, and more. These aren't just books, they're tools for transformation. Grab a copy now on Amazon or at madisonmalloy.com. Now back to the show. All right, we are back in studio with our amazing guest on this episode of Next to Madison, John Mabry. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here because you have an incredible story. You're missing a leg. And so I want to hear what happened.
All right. So I'm born and raised in Texas.
Okay.
All right. So Texas through and through. And so rodeo is a big deal. And so the short of it is I'm a rodeo clown. And no, I'm kidding. No. So you got to get creative when people ask you all the time, especially with kids. Kids stop all the time. What happened to your leg? What happened to your leg? It's, man, I'm part robot. I used to live on Mars. I didn't want to be there anymore, so I came back. So try to have some fun with it. The truth of the matter is, though, I was in a car accident in 2000. I was in college, senior in college in Texas, and everything going for me. I was dating a cheerleader who was our fraternity sweetheart, and I was on a full ride scholarship. Doing video work, communications major. I was doing video for the athletic team, so I was filming football games and practices. I got the same scholarship that football players got. Like, it was, wow. I was riding high. Social chairman of my fraternity, setting up events with sororities, like doing the whole thing. And I'd set up this cruise out of New Orleans for 35 of us. And I got to go for free since I set it up.
Yeah.
We're coming back from this cruise out of New Orleans back to Waco, Texas, Baylor University, and a tire blows out in a friend's car, and all of that came crashing down. I mean, as the car just starts shaking violently, just trembling. You're going, oh, no. And so my life flashed before my eyes like a movie. Yeah. And I felt like like a film reel, old school film reel.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, my life's going to end. It's going to turn to black right now. I'm going to black. And as the car's rolling, I'm envisioning my life is just flashing all before my eyes. And my legs hit out the window somehow. And witness reports say we rolled between 6 and 12 times.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Gnarly scene. We and end up in this field we missed oncoming traffic crossing the other side of I-45 outside of Houston, land upside down, and I'm thinking, what happens in the movies? Car blows up. Car rolls 10 times, it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
So I got to get out as quick as I can. Undid my seatbelt. I get to the edge of the window, and I looked down, and my foot was dangling. It was just dangling on the end of my shin. And so when I put pressure down, I was standing on my shin. And so I just threw myself out of the car, and I crawled out as fast as I could, scurried out, and I looked back, and all 3 of my friends were still in the car. And so I was like, you know what? If this thing blows up and I'm not helping, like, that's not going to fly.
Yeah.
So I was like, if it blows up, we're all going down. So I crawled back in, got one friend out. One friend was unconscious.
So everybody's alive at this point?
Don't know.
We don't, okay.
I see 2 people alive, one's unconscious. So the driver couldn't tell what was going on, but her boyfriend was tending to her. So he had her, got it. 2 of us get out. Jaws of Life come in, first responders come in, and this is stuff like, they don't prepare you for stuff like this in school, Like, they don't prepare you for war, basically. It's like a war scene. Jaws of Life come in, they start cutting the car out to pull my friend Ashley out of the car. They pull her out. Helicopter comes in, lands on the side of the interstate, put her in the helicopter. She goes off. I'm sitting there and nobody's doing anything to me. They had put a blanket over my legs because it was so grotesque. There's, kids walking around from like witnesses that stopped and they're taking witness reports and all the sirens and everything. And nobody came to me. Everybody kind of like forgot about me. So I started screaming. I was like, because the shot, you're in shock. So you don't feel that much pain. It's just fear. And so they come to get me on a stretcher, and a lady had to just hold my foot. I remember, just so my foot wouldn't just dangle, and get me on the stretcher.
And at this point, you didn't realize that you might be losing your leg.
I told myself right then, I was like, they're going to cut it off. I told my friend, I was like, they're going to cut my leg off. Like, it was bad.
Oh my gosh.
So I ended up going to hospital, getting first round of surgeries, and then moved me back to San Antonio, home San Antonio. I was at a small regional hospital for just kind of piecing things back together.
Yeah.
And then found out when I woke up from my first surgery that Ashley had passed. The driver had passed away before they even got her to the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
They waited until after my surgery to tell me so I could at least get through my surgery. But Ashley Furman's her name. I always like keeping her memory alive. So she passed at age 19. And then I was sent on a year of procedures and surgeries and nerve blocks and moved body parts around. They took one of my abdominal muscles out, attached it into my foot, to skin off my hip into a skin graft. And so screws and pins and needles, and I had bracing. And like a year into it, I'm trying to go back to school, trying to graduate, keep coming back for surgeries, going back from school to home. And it was just getting exhausting. And the doctors finally said, infection's so bad, we're going to need to fuse your ankle. We're going to take bone out of your hip. We're going to do a bone graft. It's going to be the hardest surgery you've been through yet. It's going to be over a year of rehab, and you're going to have pain the rest of your life, and you're going to have a noticeable limp the rest of your life because the ankle's going to be fused. And I was like, cut it off. I'm done. I give up. Yeah. Now, I didn't do it without help. So I reached out to some people who'd been through it before, and I was like, let me talk to some people. I didn't just like, let's just cut it off. I wasn't quite that brave, but brave enough to ask for help. Yeah. Brave enough to say, is there somebody out there that I could talk to that's been through this that can give me some assistance? And so once I saw some other people successfully overcome it, all right, I can do this.
So how was your spirit during that point? Were you saying like, why me? Did you want to die at that point? Like, what was going on?
Great question.
Especially at such a young age, to have to endure that.
Yeah. So 22, 23 years old, going through this transition. And then you're supposed to be transitioning into real world stuff, into real world life and work and job. And I'm like, everybody else is moving on with their life and, getting engaged and all this stuff. And here I am like in a hospital bed and like wheelchairs. And that's a great question. The truth is I covered it all up. And it really stemmed, I found this out years later in trauma therapy. I had ear surgeries as a kid and just a lot of infections, similar to leg infections. Ended up having to have a transplanted eardrum and prosthetic bones put in my ear, and had to fly out of state for that procedure. So found this out in trauma therapy years later that my insecurities and my feeling broken and defective and different and insecure, very insecure growing up was from these ear surgeries. I just felt broken. I just felt something's not right with me. I've got to have somebody else's body part put in my head, as a 13-year-old kid having to fly out of state. And I was scared of these doctors, and there was a lot of pain involved. So now when I go through these surgeries, all that stuff comes back up. Yeah. But I've had the mask on for my entire life, playing class clown. I was voted most school-spirited, best personality in class clown at senior prom. Yeah. And so I had that on. And here's one thing that somebody told me right up front that I did not serve me well, is he said, good thing this happened to you, John, because you can handle it. So I went into all these surgeries and all this stuff going, oh, I'm supposed to handle this, It was like, oh, I'm supposed to be the guy that handles this. So I had everybody's in high spirits alongside with me. We got this. Let's do this. And as I find out later on in my story that you can only wear that mask for so long. But it got me through it initially.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about fast forwarding. You recover through the surgery.
So had my leg amputated, get my diploma 6 weeks later, walk on a temporary prosthetic, just wheeled myself across the stage on a cane and a temporary prosthetic. So I'm getting my diploma. I got it. And then moved from Texas to San Diego and started work on my master's in counseling. So I got that at San Diego State, and ended up, that's when my addiction to pain pills and Adderall and alcohol started. So that's when my substance abuse started. I was covering up all the stuff I was suppressing, So
did the pain pills start because you obviously got pain pills when you got out of the surgery and while you were going through the surgeries, but there wasn't an addiction at that point?
No. Yeah,
you would take them when you needed them, and then you'd be able to.
When I was home, when I was under care, and I was connected in community and things, it was I took them as prescribed. Yeah. And it was when I went out to the real world on my own and graduate school, out of state, new people, new environment.
So were you still in pain at this point, or you just wanted something to take more of the emotional pain away?
Both. There's a lot. Being an amputee is really hard.
I'm sure.
It's harder than I make it look. And I post stuff that I'm doing great stuff and all the stuff on the prosthetic leg, but there's so much behind the scenes that hurt a lot. And I don't talk about that very often.
Can you talk about that now?
Yeah.
I think it'd be important for somebody who could be going through this and struggling.
It sucks going through chronic pain. It doesn't have to be an amputation.
Is it still today's pain?
So not today. Today we're good. The last few months have been good.
Okay.
But the last 2 years I've had 5 procedures. I almost had my leg re-amputated 2 years ago, Easter Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
I got an ingrown hair. It got infected, got more infected. Easter Sunday, I'm on the operating table. They say if the infection's in the bone when we go in for surgery, we're cutting your knee off.
Oh, geez.
And above the knee is a whole different ball game. It hurts. They don't stay on as well. They're heavier. They're more expensive. You don't want above that. If you're going to lose a limb, below the knee is the way to do it. Don't do an arm or hand. That sucks. But above the knee is a lot harder. And I know how hard it is because I have a lot of friends that do it. And I would not have been.
So let's flash back though to San Diego when the pain pills started, because you're still having obviously. So the pain never goes away, even though the nerves are kind of gone.
Yeah. So early days, there's a lot of nerve pain, keeps you up at night. Oh, so yeah, and this was in 2000, 2001, 2002. It's like right when pain pills were right when Purdue Pharma
was real hot.
That's when it was all hitting the market.
Yes.
So it was like this perfect blend of stuff's hitting the market, and I got access to it. Nobody's telling me no. So it was a perfect storm. And
so how did the Adderall and the alcohol play into that too?
I would just rotate between the 3 substances. So I would take a month of Adderall in, 2 weeks or 10 days or whatever I could scarf them down at. And then when I would run out of that, I'd use pain pills. When I run out of that, I'd go to alcohol. And so I could just kind of rotate between 3 substances. I did for a couple of years.
And that was helping the physical and the mental pain.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you ended up getting married.
Yeah, so I get married. She moves out from Texas, San Diego. Within a couple of months, it's like, something's not right. She literally flew home to her parents.
After you got married?
Yeah. It was like 6 months into marriage. She flew home to her parents and was like, something's off. She couldn't put her finger on it.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about it, but she knew something was off. And we stayed married for 14 years. She really gave it her all. Yeah. And I give her credit. She really tried. And
and you have 3 kids?
Mm-hmm. 3 kids.
Okay, so you guys made it 14 years. So what's going on during this 14 years? You are still hiding this addiction.
Hiding it. Yeah, and I'm getting to the end of...
Are you wearing a mask at this point, do you feel?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I used counseling, this master's in counseling, to go, let's talk about your problems. Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have to look at me. I think every counselor should have a counselor. And I had a counselor, but it was the psychiatrist giving me pills. It was like the doctors give me pills. I wasn't being honest.
It was just a Band-Aid. It wasn't a fix.
I wasn't going in and sharing what was really going on in my life. I was wearing the mask. Everything's fine. And it gets exhausting. But I get to the end of grad school and I'm supposed to help other people. And I'm going, I can't help other people.
Yeah.
I haven't even begun to help myself. And a perfect distraction. A kid from small town Bulverde, Texas, got a call to come up to LA and work as a body double for the first amputee on the first TV show about the war in Iraq. So the first show to come out about the war in Iraq is my cousin's the lead actor in it, and I filled in for his body double.
Wow.
Like, chance of a lifetime. I get to be on set as a communications major. I'm like, I'm on camera, I'm on film. It's my stump. I'm a stump double, I'm a stump double.
Yeah.
But, he had PR press team and management. And so we're in People Magazine and Access Hollywood. And I'm backstage at the ESPYs with The Rock and sharing a cab with Andy Dick, getting licked and groped by Andy Dick in a cab. And at the Playboy Mansion with Adam Sandler and Bruce Willis and Emma Stone, all these people.
Those are great stories. I wish I had those myself.
Dude, wow. It was like, I've arrived. I'm back.
Yes.
I'm back. And all along, just having that behind the scenes substance abuse just going on, but still life was manageable at the time still. Not internally, but externally it appeared that way.
Yeah.
And then I got a call that my brother didn't show up for work. He lived in Beverly Hills, and I go over to his house. This is December 2008, and go to his bedroom. His car was in the driveway. His bedroom door is locked. I call his cell phone, and I hear it ringing on the other side and no answer. So I kick in his bedroom door, and I mean, I could just see it like it was yesterday, like the splinters of the wood just open up, and you just step in. Again, the world slows down, your life flashes before your eyes. And as I saw before, that film reel just running out, I walked in, and my brother's film had turned to black. He had been dead for 3 days from an overdose, cocaine overdose.
Holy I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And were you doing cocaine at this point too?
No, I never did cocaine. I just kind of on the, if I got it from a doctor, I wasn't doing anything bad.
I am so sorry.
So, yeah.
And so now it's like you're still masking this pain. You have addiction issues yourself, and now you're dealing with a whole new layer of, it's kind of like, you know, it's, do you ever look yourself in the mirror and go, how can somebody endure this much?
Mm-hmm.
And so you keep going on. So you're married at this point.
So, yeah, married, we have our first kid.
After the brother.
No, so my it was really cool. My brother we were together the last 2 years or so of his life out in LA.
Yeah.
And so he was there when my son was born. He was my first Father's Day on Malibu Beach. I was training for a Malibu triathlon, so was out at Malibu Beach on Father's Day. He got to come out there for that. So we had some, and he got to be there for my son's birth. So my son was a year old when he passed. We'd already planned to move to Nashville, so we already knew having a kid out there. We didn't want to raise a kid in LA.
Yeah.
And so we had already decided to move here, and then my brother died, and it was like, get out of here, get out. So we came here, and still wearing that mask. So much so, I had to triple down on this. So I interviewed with Dave Ramsey. I thought, you know what, being a part of a Christian organization, a beautiful, flourishing,
I didn't
positive.
know he was here.
Yeah, he's in Franklin.
Okay.
So I walk into his office and apply, had a friend kind of refer me to get me in there.
And we're still on drugs and
Still
alcohol.
on drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
And he does 7 layers of interviewing back then, because every time he hires a crazy person, he puts in a new layer of interviewing. I found this out after I had worked my way through there.
Okay.
Because he's added another 1 or 2 layers because I got in.
Okay.
So his 7 layers of interviewing, literally 7 different interviews. Spousal interview, had to go out on a spousal interview with my spouse and my immediate boss's spouse.
Wow.
Like they dig in. Is this going to be a good fit for this organization?
Wow. I didn't realize he was so serious.
It was 7 interviews over 4.5 months.
Okay.
And I got in, man. I was in.
What were you doing for?
So I was doing outbound calls to churches to sell live event tickets.
Okay.
And it got to the point, and it's shameful saying it, but it's part of my truth, was literally drinking vodka at my desk while popping pills, calling churches.
Are you in an office?
I'm in a cubicle with people around me.
Oh my gosh.
And literally just bottle vodka in my vodka in my water bottle, popping pills, calling churches. That's where my addiction is going to take this private college education.
Functioning addict.
Yeah.
Okay, and so are you able to close these churches?
No. I got called in Dave's office one day. Devo, he has a Devo every Wednesday. He brings in a speaker, and so everybody makes their way to the elevator. And my boss goes, "Hey, why don't you hang back for a second?" I was like, "All right." Everybody goes down. The whole office goes down to the Devo, and my boss. We walk by his boss's office. All right, we're going down. So we get in the elevator. We're going down to first floor, and everybody goes left, and we go right. Walk by HR's office. All right, we're ready. Walk down to Dave's office. Dude, I'm getting promoted?
Yeah.
Like, oh, man. All right. Sit down at Dave's at the round table in Dave's office with everybody there. And he just looked me in the eye and said, "You obviously have some things going on that have been noticeable, you here at our workplace. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to let you go. But the good news is you have an opportunity to go get help that you might need."
Okay.
So that was the first time in my life that I was willing to become what my message is now when I speak, is unsilent. So,
and how many years ago was this?
This was 2011.
Okay.
And so for the first time, I raised my hand and said, "I can't do this anymore. I give up." So,
wow.
Became unsilent for the first time, and it was not pretty. But I made it to the first treatment center, relapse, second treatment center, relapse, third, fourth, fifth, 3 sober living homes, get kicked out of my house, literally went from party at the Playboy Mansion to 2 or 3 years later, I'm living in a mold-infested trailer off the banks of the Cumberland here, off Trinity Lane in Nashville with a roommate named Beaver.
Oh my gosh.
in a sober living house. Yeah.
It was a trailer?
It was a sober living facility or sober living group of homes, and you didn't know when you signed up which dwelling you were going to be assigned. And so I got the double wide mold infested trailer with literally a hole in the floor. You could see the ground in the kitchen. And I'm like,
I mean, was that environment enough to just wake you up in a way? That's got to do something to your... Or is the addiction so powerful that you're just...
It was hard. It was hard to get to the depths of my suppressing and isolating and lying to myself.
Yeah.
You know? So here's the thing. So my messages become unsilent.
Yeah.
And one of the frameworks I have is the silent journey.
Okay.
SILENT. And here's what I would constantly go through coming out of these treatment centers is I would start to feel better at first. I would get sober for a little while, and then I would start to suppress real stuff that was going on that I wasn't talking to people about. And I would start to isolate, and then I would start to lie, and then I start to escape, find ways to escape out of that, and then numb out. And I get to this place of like trembling of like, I should talk to somebody about this. I should tell my sponsor. I should tell people in my accountability group. I should tell my ex-wife like what I'm feeling, that I was slipping again.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it. And then I would just go back into that silent journey, suppressing, isolating, lying. And it was finally when you get to that point of like trembling, where trembling is like, I gotta say something. I finally learned today to be able to speak up and share and tear up the old script. You get to the point like, I'm just gonna tear up this old script and I'm gonna give up. But I learned tools in the treatment centers, and I would use them for a little bit, and then I'd put them down. And one of the things, my first treatment center was really cool. An exercise the trauma therapist had me do was write a letter to my dead leg, because I hadn't processed the trauma of my amputation yet.
Interesting.
She goes, write a letter to your dead leg, and then we had a funeral service. We went outside and stood around what was like a makeshift grave.
Yeah.
And I had to read this letter to my dead leg. And,
wow.
and at the end of it, and we all said, everybody said their own thing, and I got to cry and the whole thing, and then I got to go tear that letter up and burn it in the fire in the middle of the campus there at Sierra Tucson out in Tucson, Arizona. And so I've implemented that technique of tearing up the script of the life that you're living, instead of staying in terror and trembling and going back into that silent cycle. So
wow.
I encourage people, when you get to that point of trembling, like, just say your truth. And maybe the truth isn't like I'm dying inside. Maybe the truth is I need to get out of this relationship I'm in. Or maybe the truth is I need to get to bed early, or I need to get off social media, or I need to get off the dating apps. Like it doesn't have to be massive, deep stuff like the stuff I've been through. Because we all had an amputated spirit. You know what I'm saying, Madison? Like, you don't have to have a prosthetic leg to have felt what it feels like to have an amputated spirit.
Yeah. And I feel like so many people are afraid to speak their truth and talk out of fear of judgment, out of fear of, I know with me when I was struggling in the past, it was how is anyone going to feel for me or help me when I look like everything's going so great? I don't look like I have a problem in the world. Mm-hmm. But internally, it was a totally different story. Mm-hmm. And so when I would ask for help years and years ago, I would get, people have it worse, or which would annoy the crap out of me. I'm like, I know they do, but I got to focus on me first before I can help anyone else, right?
Yeah.
Or you look like you have it all. How could you be struggling? Mm-hmm. Just be positive. You know what I mean? And so it was this thing where you didn't know where to go, and you didn't know, but yeah, and I think a lot of people have that, where it's like, you are struggling. And I think what I learned from it is like, if the people don't want to listen to you, then go find another room. Mm-hmm. I think we're afraid to be judged. I don't think that ever goes away. Mm-hmm. I think you just learn to manage it better. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, okay. So you then, how long have you been clean? After
5.5 years.
Okay. So not that long.
Yeah.
So during COVID,
longest I've ever had.
That's great.
Oh, so COVID.
Yeah.
That's when the worst. So that's the worst part. So that of all the stuff I've been through, I hadn't even covered the worst yet.
Yeah. Okay.
The worst was in COVID, when going through divorce.
Yeah.
And you talk about feeling. I thought my leg amputation was bad. I thought my brother's death was bad. But when you have kids and they get pulled from you, Court takes them from you, gives you very little access to them. I was hard.
Yeah.
So right before this, I was working for a group of addiction treatment centers, got sober for a few years, working for a group of addiction treatment centers. I'm hosting a podcast on addiction. Had 3 of the members of the band Korn on the show. A guy from Three Doors Down, Lindsay Lohan's dad, Michael Lohan's friend of mine, had him on the show. Like, just had great deal. I was sharing my story at colleges, universities. Was taking Toastmasters, which is basically support group for public speakers.
Right, totally.
And within a year and a half of joining Toastmasters, I'm on the cover of Toastmasters magazine. And here I am, I'm back. I'm back. And in LA, I always wanted my name on the marquee. You know, you always want your name up on the marquee like everybody else, right? I got my name up on a marquee, but in a totally different way during this phase of my life. I did a drug-free workplace training program for an entire county set of employees. So hundreds of employees for this small town outside of Nashville. And they brought me in and they had my name, John Mabry, drug-free workplace training.
Okay, nice.
On their little Main Street theater marquee. And I was like, I'm back. I'm back. But I'll tell you what, new stuff started to come up. I dealt with a lot of the past trauma, but new stresses started to come up, new things. I'm working in the addiction treatment field. I'm working in the recovery field, but I wasn't working a recovery program. Okay. It's a big difference.
Okay.
I can go to work every day and help serve others, but was I helping myself with the new stresses I was getting, the new platform, the new ego? Ego started coming back in.
Okay.
And I wasn't talking about it. And so I relapsed while doing all this. And I lost my job, my house, my wife, my kids. And that's what it took for me to hit rock bottom.
So it was a blessing in
COVID's
disguise.
there. I put on 55 pounds overnight, and I was mentally checked out. And when you have level of success, high achievers like us and people that, you know, circles we run in, you get high achievers, it's almost harder to ask for help when
Of
you
course,
appear to have
you
it
don't
all
want
together.
people to think that you're not who you're presenting to be, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm on the cover of Toastmasters magazine. It goes out to 140 countries, and it's, you know, triumph over trauma.
Right.
This is the title. And here I am, another trauma, losing access to my kids and all.
Oh
and it was the hardest phone call to make, but I did it. And I say this in my platform is I was willing to act truthfully for the first time. Because most of my life, Meisner technique teaches in acting that you act truthfully in imaginary circumstances.
Yeah.
I had it backwards, and I was acting a lie in reality.
Yeah.
Most of my life. So for the first time, I acted truthfully, and I acknowledged that I really, really, really had a problem. I chose one person to tell.
Yeah.
And I told them right then.
Who was that?
ACT, ACT. I chose a member of SEAL Team 6. He lives here in town. He was there when they took down bin Laden.
Okay.
Okay.
Was he a friend of yours? Or
Yeah,
just,
he's a friend of mine. His wife cut my hair for 5 years.
Okay.
So that's how I knew this person. And I call him over to my place. Because usually I always
Is this a trailer or no? We're out of the trailer at this point.
Yeah, correct. I'm in an apartment. I got kicked, divorced, living in an apartment, living in a van. I was living a trailer down by a river.
Yeah.
So I'm living in an apartment, and I'm just alone, and I ran everybody away. You know, my kids didn't trust me. It was all, God just had to strip it all of it. And I finally made the phone call, admitted, knowledge, chose somebody, and I told him right now. And he said, you know, you're not well. And I said, yeah, I don't feel like I'm going to be around much longer. And he said, John, he made it so simple, but it was so profound. He said, everybody loves a comeback story.
They do.
And I said, dude, I don't have another one in me. I came back after my car wreck. My friend died. I had my leg cut off. I found my brother dead. I don't got another comeback story in me. He's like, everybody loves a comeback story. He had me tear up the old script that I couldn't do it. And he had me write the first word of my new script. He goes, what's one thing you can do today? Literally got a piece of paper out on my kitchen table. Yeah. He said, what's one thing you do today? I said, I don't even know where to start, man. Like, I've had it all. I've lost it. I've had it all. I've lost it. Where do I go? And he goes, he wrote down SHOWER. Can you take a shower today, John? I hadn't showered in 5 days. He could smell me. I was so depressed.
Oh, gosh.
So checked out. I didn't feel like I had a comeback in me. And he said, why don't you start with a shower?
Yeah.
I said, all right, I can do a shower today.
Yeah.
So, been sober ever since.
That's amazing. and obviously that guy, like, you guys are still dear friends, and Is he somebody you call now when you're struggling?
So now he's a licensed therapist in town. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
So
amazing.
I don't bug him too much because he's got his own caseload of people. But
yeah, but what an incredible friend, though.
Mm-hmm.
You
and
know,
he made it so simple. He's like, dude, everybody loves a comeback story. And I was like, so I would envision myself. So I said, what's the next thing I do? I need to get back in the gym. So I started working out again. I started moving my body.
Yeah.
It's like, so one of the things that I've learned to help me get to where I'm at is to find a sense of adventure again. Find a sense of adventure. Go find something to go work toward. And I started to become the hero of my story again and stop waiting for somebody else to be the hero of my story. I started to become the own hero of my story.
I love that.
And I found that I literally went on a spiritual retreat to Bali. I went skydiving in Costa Rica. I did all these huge adventures to try to get outside of myself or to try to find myself again.
Yeah.
And what I found is I really just needed an adventure within 10 minutes of my house. And it was going to the gym and it was finding a new support group.
Yeah.
And those were within 10 minutes of my house. And those were some of the greatest adventures I've ever been on, was consistently showing up at a simple place like a gym where I had community and I had people challenging me and people encouraging me. And I started walking around the boxing gym during boxing class and hitting people, fist bumping people in class. Great job. I see you today. I see you today. And then people are motivated because the one-legged guy's outboxing them,
Yeah.
And I'm like, they were looking at me. I better pick up the pace because they're picking up the pace because of me. So we all started feeding off each other.
I love that.
So I found an adventure in the gym, and then also Celebrate Recovery saved my life at my church, Harpeth Christian Church in Franklin. They Celebrate Recovery is a Christ-centered 12-step group. Okay. It's the same 12 steps as AA. Same exact 12 steps. Mm-hmm. But in AA, you pick any power of your understanding, any higher power of your understanding. God, Buddha, the room of Alcoholics Anonymous, the group itself, anything other than you. Okay. When I run my life, I run it into the ground. So I got something outside of me.
Okay.
But I kept relapsing in AA. Like, what's going on? So I went back to church where I grew up and started Celebrate Recovery. Christ is the center. Same 12 steps. And it's for anybody with any hurt, habit, or hang up. So it opens up the doors to anybody.
Yeah,
we all have a hurt, habit, or hang up. It could be food. It could be codependency. There's a lot of people in there for codependency, control, finances, trouble with their finances. They're in Celebrate Recovery talking about overspending and overeating and anger issues. So you find this just people that were just so real with the Christ as the center. And that was the missing piece for me. That was kind of the missing piece was Christ.
Yeah.
I couldn't do the comeback story without the greatest comeback story ever told, which is Jesus Christ.
That's true. That is true. And so you grew up in the church, but as most people, I feel, they get into their teens, they get into their younger 20s, and they stop going to church, and then they start saying, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. It's one of those things. It's like the whole thing, gosh, don't want to get canceled, don't want to isolate anybody, don't want to. But now we're coming back to more of the,
back to my roots.
So when did you, at some point in your journey, did you hate God because of all that you've gone through?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And how did you get through that?
So in Celebrate Recovery, in AA, you work the 12 steps with the sponsor one-on-one.
Yeah.
So you go through the 12 steps, you admit all your wrongs, you write them down, you say them out loud, you make amends to people. I've written letters to family members and, ex-in-laws and sister-in-law, brother-in-law. I'm sorry for what I've done. How can I make it up? If there's anything I can do to right my wrongs, I'm sorry for the way that I treated your nieces and nephews and your sister. Anything I can do to make up for anything, let me know. So you got to do all this junk, you got to do this stuff. And in that process is where some of that anger comes up and some of that, really, I think the most anger that I had was toward myself. More so than God, now that I'm thinking about it. I think the most anger I had was toward myself. Just the shame of the person I had allowed myself to become.
And do you ever think had that car accident not happened?
Not really. No, I really don't.
It was kind of part of your journey, right?
Yeah, I know it was for.
Are you a
for
big person of things happen for a reason and everything's predestined?
Yeah, so listen to this. Had my leg cut off, right?
Yeah.
While I was in graduate school in San Diego, I'm working for a nonprofit, and we raise money to get people with physical disabilities access to sports, the Challenged Athletes Foundation.
Okay.
While I'm working there, I get to see all these athletes. And one of the biggest things that we all struggle with, amputees, is sweat inside prosthetics. Nobody's figured out sweat inside a prosthetic. This is a hospitable environment. It doesn't breathe. It doesn't give. You're squeezed in. It's like wearing a stiletto that's one size too small all day, every day.
Oh, gosh, I didn't
and then you're supposed to go run on it in the heat
Yeah.
And sweat builds up, and it's debilitating. Like, it keeps athletes off the field and off the track. And so when I moved here, long story short, I found a solution. There was already a product on the market that was helping people with regular feet, sweat management, regular foot socks.
Yeah.
And so I took their technology, I put their sock on my leg one day, and it solved the sweat problem because of the technology that they had built into the sock. So within a year, working with a company, I had worldwide distribution on the greatest sock ever created to manage sweat for prosthetics.
Oh my
and it has literally helped guys win gold medals in the last two Paralympics. The 400-meter gold medal winner, one from Germany, one from the U.S., different countries, wear the sock. They compete at a higher level because sweat is managed better.
Yeah.
Hunter Woodhall is the U.S. He's the world record holder in the 400-meter double leg amputee. And, he was wearing the sock in the Paralympics last year. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so
So
cool.
yeah, I think everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So without this, there wouldn't be the gold medals that have happened in the last few years. Yeah.
I love that. No, that's like such a glass half full way to think about it.
Some good stuff come out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like people, with what you've been through. I mean, I feel like you don't know how you would handle something until you're faced with it yourself. But I look at you and I'm like, gosh, would I ever be that strong? And I don't know. I really don't. I think I'm strong, but I don't know. I haven't had to face what you've had to face. And I think a lot of people probably ask themselves that, like, what would I do?
Here's the trick.
Yeah.
I'm not strong enough. I'm not. I've had so much freaking support. I'm sitting here in this chair because of hundreds of people, a part of my journey over the years to help get sober. All the therapy I went through, all the therapists, the spiritual retreat in Bali. I'm laying in a hut with a guru, like reading my energy, like all this stuff came into play to help, meditation, neurofeedback, all the stuff that I've done. But really, it's the support group in Celebrate Recoveries. I have a group of men, accountability group that knows my stuff. There's multiple guys that know my stuff. And so I can call them at any point in time. So no, I'm not strong enough. I talked to you this morning about things are going so well for me. And I talked about the retreat I met you at last weekend and the networking event I went to this morning, the conference I went to the last 2 days, all public speakers. I'm all getting fed great stuff and learning new things. And I called my sponsor this morning to tell him, hey, things are going really well. I don't really know what to do when things are going really well. I usually mess things up.
Okay.
I just want to voice that. He's like, you're on the right path. God's got you in there. So I check in with people on a regular basis, not just when things are going bad, but even when things are going good, so people know where I'm at in my journey. So you would not be strong enough to do what I did. I'm not strong enough to do what I did. But when you surround yourself with support, and it starts with just being unsilent with one person of what you're covering up today.
I think that's such great advice for everybody listening, really, for everybody.
It's like, you're not strong enough. If you're strong enough, you would have done it by now. You would have already done it.
Yeah. And so you're now a motivational speaker. And what is like your kind of key topic? Yeah.
So my lane is I empower people to step through the silence of their lives, things that they're keeping silent, to share their story so that they can find healing and connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I help people become honest and willing and vulnerable about things in their life, and then move through find some adventure in the process. And then at the end is you got to be a service. The trick is when you finally work on yourself, when you take a step back and work on yourself and get yourself stabilized first and foremost,
right.
Put the oxygen mask on you first before the child. When you get stabilized, then you have a responsibility to go be a service to others.
Yes.
And in AA, we say you can't keep it unless you give it away. You can't keep sobriety unless you give it away. And so I can't keep what I've had, what God's done in my life through the power of Jesus Christ without giving that away. So,
yeah. Well, what an incredible story, and it's empowering, and I'm sure people that sit through your speeches are inspired in such a beautiful way. But you did bring up the key word, which is vulnerability, and I think that is something that as humans we struggle with still today.
It's such a superpower, y'all. It's such a superpower.
So give us some advice on how to be more vulnerable, because when we are vulnerable, we expose a different side of ourselves that opens us up to getting hurt. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of people are afraid, but I feel when you are more vulnerable, like the magic happens. It's kind of like that little river you have to like jump across, but you're scared.
Mm-hmm. it's a trembling stage where when you're being silent and you're trembling, you got to step through just the trust of tearing up your old script.
Because I'm definitely like, I'm very like an open book. I'm very authentic. I've got nothing to hide. Like, I've got no secrets in the closet I can't expose. But at the same time, when it comes, you know, especially to like romantic relationships, I do feel that vulnerability can be a challenge for me because it's like, well, if you let that person get too close or know too much, then they could hold something against you, or they could, hurt you.
Yeah.
And so we don't allow ourselves to fully be in that relationship, if that makes sense. It's like we're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So what is the advice to like be more vulnerable?
So for me, I haven't done it as much in romantic relationships. I haven't been dating much, and it's hasn't been my forte in a while. So
you're not missing much.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get there, but not quite there yet. So I don't know the answer to that one.
Okay.
But in terms of, maybe this framework could work for anybody. Is going back to the act truthfully and just acknowledge something that's you're scared about, and choose the right person to tell.
Yeah,
totally. I think it's choosing the right person to tell. A lot of us attach ourselves to people we shouldn't be attached to, and we know it in our gut, but we just don't listen to that.
Oh, especially romantically, right?
Yes, it's like and then you're supposed to be vulnerable with there's like a constant resistance because you're supposed to be vulnerable with somebody you're not supposed to be with. A lot of times, I think. Yeah. I know when I have tried to date, it's like immediately know in my gut whether it's supposed to work out or not, and it's like, am I willing to admit that or not?
You immediately know?
Not immediately, but I can. Not immediately, no. I haven't dated much, so I don't.
Get back. So do you address when you have dated though? Do you address that right out of the gate?
Address my stuff, yeah. So absolutely, yeah. So I put that on the table, man. I've got to, So my skeletons are like, here's where I'm at, man. I'm, if you're down with this, cool. If not, see ya. Right. So maybe that's the answer I was looking for your question is be honest right out of the gates. Relationship like, hey, this is who I am. This is how I roll. You're gonna waste my time or not? Right?
No, totally. No, that makes absolute sense. My grandmother was an amputee.
Oh, really?
She was, yeah, but she was also paralyzed. So she was in a wheelchair. So she was in a car accident when she was 16 in the late 30s, 40s maybe, early 40s.
Okay.
And she had gotten an accident. A mail truck picked her up, and took her to the hospital, and she was bouncing, and obviously it damaged the spine, and they shouldn't have touched her, but they did, and she was paralyzed, and then she got a leg infection and ended up having the leg, amputated. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she was supposed to die at 17, and she lived till 76.
Wow. Paralyzed with an amputation?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And people say, why are your standards so high? I'm like, because my grandmother literally was a paralyzed woman in a wheelchair and found my grandfather who adored her to the day she died and loved her, picked her up to go to the shower, to the toilet, you name it. And I was like, if I don't have that, then I don't want anything. You know what I mean? It was incredible just to see the amount of just love. And she wasn't perfect. None of us are. Mm-hmm. When he met her, he still took on that challenge. Dude. That it didn't matter because it was just this pure love and how strong and happy she was. I never saw her upset or why me but yeah, it was that whole thing. And, my mother ended up getting epilepsy because, when you are paraplegic at home, with 4 kids, all within a year of each other, you can't monitor all them as much as you can trying to roll around. And so she ended up getting that. And so it's just you see these strong women around you that have gone through these challenges and now a strong man. But they persevere. My mother's now cured of epilepsy. It was in a part of her brain where they were able to cut the entire thing out and didn't lose any speech or sight. It was incredible, incredible story. But yeah, I'm in admiration of the strong people, not only in my family, but ones that are like you that are sitting in front of me. So thank you for sharing your story.
My pleasure. I would, I don't know if I'd want to date you with that kind of high standard of your. That would be tough.
I mean, my grandfather was like, and he was so funny. He had the greatest dick jokes on the planet. My God, he was so funny.
Yeah.
I remember, don't go in my garage. The nudie magazines are in there. But he was always loyal, but he still was a man.
What a great guy.
But yeah, because they didn't, back then, and they were very poor. So they didn't have, all the kind of tools to, assist you in the shower, assist you on the toilet. So it was literally, and just imagine like a man loves you so much that he's going to pick you up and put you on the toilet to take a dump. That
for decades.
Is true love.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, like, it's an incredible love story. Maybe I should write a story about it.
Seriously. Yeah, that's a really, I don't know. Could I be that strong to do that? Probably not, no.
And here I am with all functioning parts, and I still can't find a boyfriend. So kudos to you, Grandma.
Really?
It's like, oh my God. So how do people book you as a speaker, learn more about you? I feel like there's a book coming in you.
Yes, there's a book coming. We're not quite there yet, but there have been thoughts and ideas floating around, so we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, and even some curriculum around this because, I think that there's a lot of people suffering and there's a lot of addiction type centers, but I feel like you've kind of embraced it and gone through different challenges in your own unique way that could be very beneficial.
Yeah. So johnmabryconnects.com.
Okay, spell that so people know.
JOHNMABRY connects.com.
Excellent.
Instagram, John Mabry Connects, be the next best way.
Okay.
Or john@johnmabryconnects.com for email.
I love that. I love that. So you guys, definitely go and check him out. I assume there's a way to contact you. They can book you as a speaker, learn more about your story. And if you're somebody that resonates with his story or suffering from something similar, please reach out and find somebody in your group to support you and ask for help and stay unsilent.
Amen.
Which I really love that. Go through that acronym again because I liked it. What the silent stands for.
So it's suppression. What you don't express, you suppress.
Yes.
What you don't express, you suppress. And so I didn't express myself a lot of times, and so I suppress it. And then it leads to isolation because I'm not talking to anybody about it. And then I start lying to myself and others. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. I got this. I can do this on my own. Then for E, it's just you just find there's a escape. What do I do to escape? Scroll, doom scroll.
Yeah.
Gym, working out, food, whatever the escape is, doesn't matter. We all have our different ways to escape. And then we get to this place of you're just numb. You're just going through it, just freaking numb.
Yeah.
And then the T is just tremble. Man, you tremble, you're like, I should say something. I can't do this on my own. I can't make this comeback on my own. I need help. And when you turn that T into tear up the old script, just tear it up. You know you can't do it alone. You got to ask for help.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So yes, you guys ask for help. Ask for help in a business adventure. Ask for help in your dating life. Ask for help with addiction. It doesn't have to be something that's horrible. You could just need help in other ways. And I think that the more we realize that we're all on this planet together and that none of us do anything on our own.
Yeah, you could be killing it right now. Your business could be the highest it's ever been, but now you've reached a level where you don't know what to do next. Now you're getting out of you're getting out of your comfort level. You don't know what to do next. Quit being silent. I
love it.
Yeah.
So
ask for help.
The message really is don't be afraid to ask for help, no matter what's going on, and find that support system. And this was just incredible.
Thank you so much.
I loved this conversation, and I'm sorry you've gone through everything you've gone through, but I feel that, it was part of your story to help so many other people.
Exactly.
And it's almost a blessing in disguise. Would you say that?
Sure is. Absolutely. Yeah. I've never felt so alive getting to serve others in this way. So
well, I'm
it's an
proud
honor.
of you.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. And I'm thankful for you for coming on the Next to Madison podcast and sharing your story.
And thank you for all that you do to put all this on. This is not easy.
you.
This is a beautiful set. I mean, this is an amazing space. So thank you for creating this opportunity.
You are so welcome. So you guys go check out John Mabry Connects, and we will see you next time to find out who's next. Bye. Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@nexttomadison.com. I thank you again for listening. Bye.